Welcome back to another episode of HealthCap Weekly Wrap. This week, we're talking about a surprising wellness habit that's actually evidence-backed, a daily huddle model that helps teams catch issues faster, what CMS is doing with SNF data validation, a Washington long-term care funding pilot coming in 2026, and Missouri's push for elder abuse prevention reforms.
All right, let's start with the most relatable one. This story comes from MedPage Today, drawing on an Associated Press report. The headline idea is basically, doctor's orders belly laugh 2 to 5 days a week.
Oh, I love that. So like, laughter as medicine?
Yeah, kind of. The piece frames laughter like a mini workout for the body. A cardiologist quoted in the story suggests that real, full belly laughter can support health by easing stress and helping the cardiovascular system. They mention research in gelotology, the study of laughter, and the idea that laughter can affect stress hormones and even how blood vessels behave.
Okay, that's wild. So, what does that mean for senior living communities? Because it's easy to hear this and go, sure, that's cute, and then move on.
Right, but here's the point. We don't just care for the residents' physical needs, we care for their whole day, their mood, their connection, their sense of belonging. And laughter is a real indicator that people feel engaged and comfortable. The article also talks about laughter clubs and laughter yoga, where you intentionally laugh even if nothing is funny, and the body may still get some benefit.
Wait, forced laughter counts?
It can. And even if you ignore the biology for a second, socially it works. When one person laughs, it spreads. The atmosphere shifts.
So practical takeaway. Communities can build laughter into routine without being cheesy. Comedy afternoons, resident story circles with funny memories, staff encouraged to bring warmth into interactions, and intergenerational moments that naturally bring out that joy. It's a low-cost boost to quality of life.
All right, story 2. We're shifting from wellness to operations. This one comes from McKnight's long-term care news. About Good Samaritan Society using daily reporting huddles, they call them safe meetings as part of a Sanford program.
Okay, I'll be the skeptical one. Daily meetings can turn into daily chaos. What makes this different?
Fair. The article's point is that they're short and structured, more like a stand-up. An administrator or nurse leader joins, and the routine is layered, quick regional huddles, then key issues roll up to market leaders, then to an enterprise call. The goal is speed and consistency, catching concerns early and sharing lessons across communities.
Oh, so if one community has a near miss or a problem, others can learn immediately.
Exactly. The piece talks about sharing incident learnings, sometimes called safe stories, so patterns don't repeat. And they give examples like responding quickly to a supplement recall or coordinating through a technology outage affecting medical records.
That actually hits home, because when something goes wrong, residents feel it right away. Disruptions ripple into meals, meds, routines, everything.
Yeah. And there's also a really real part of the story about legal worry. Leaders sometimes hesitate to talk openly about problems because they fear litigation or survey scrutiny.
So what's the guidance there?
The article includes attorney perspectives, basically saying these conversations are worth having, but be smart about structure and understand state-by-state protections for quality discussions. For listeners, the takeaway is you can adopt the spirit of this without building a huge enterprise system. A 10-minute daily huddle with a consistent agenda can make a big difference. What changed since yesterday? Any resident concerns? Any staffing or supply barriers? Any near misses? Who owns the follow-up? And then check the next day that it was done.
I like the check back. That's where good intentions become real improvement.
Okay, story 3 is more technical but super important. This comes from a CMS training video on YouTube and related CMS resources. It explains the new skilled nursing facility data validation process.
All right, I'm going to let you be the expert here. What is data validation in this context?
In plain terms, CMS is adding a process to validate the accuracy of certain quality measure data elements that come from the MDS. Those quality measures feed into SNF quality reporting and SNF value-based purchasing. So if a community is selected, CMS may require them to submit supporting information to confirm that what was coded matches the documentation.
So it's not just, did you submit the MDS on time? It's, does the record support what you submitted?
Exactly, and the reason senior living leaders should care is that quality reporting impacts reputation. And for skilled nursing, it can impact payment. The best mindset is, treat documentation like the resident story. If the story is accurate and consistent across disciplines, validation isn't scary, it's just verification.
What can communities do now so they're not scrambling later?
Do internal spot checks. Pick a couple key MDS items tied to quality measures and trace them back to documentation. Make sure the workflow is clear: who documents what, where it lives, how it's reviewed, and don't silo it to one person. This is nursing, therapy, and the full team.
Okay, story 4 takes us to Washington State. This one comes from Nisqually Valley News about the Lewis-Mason-Thurston Area Agency on Aging supporting early access to the Washington Cares Fund in a limited 2026 pilot.
This one feels like it could matter a lot to residents and families.
Yeah. The article says that starting January the 2026, a limited group in Lewis, Mason, and Thurston counties can apply early for WA Cares benefits, up to $36,500 before statewide access begins in July 2026. It's first come, first served, and the article shares the pilot application window January 6th through February 28th, 2026.
And what can that benefit help with?
The story lists examples like paid care by a loved one, in-home professional care, adaptive equipment and technology, home-delivered meals, and home modifications.
Oh, that's huge. Because so many people wait until a crisis, and then the options narrow fast.
Exactly. And the article's message is basically, earlier support can prevent emergencies and preserve independence. For senior living communities, especially in Washington, the takeaway is your teams should understand the basics so you can point families to the Area Agency on Aging and WA Cares resources. It's not about selling, it's about guidance. And even outside Washington, it's a sign of where policy is going. More attempts to fund supports before people hit a breaking point.
And because this one is forward-looking, it's still relevant even if it's a little older by the time someone hears this.
Right. The update is simply, check the official WA Cares and local AAA channels for the latest details, because pilot capacity can change.
All right, last story, and it's the most serious. This one comes from Missourinet. It covers Missouri elder abuse forums that inspired proposed legislative changes.
Yeah. Missourinet reports on 7 elder abuse prevention forums held around the state, where families raised concerns about financial, physical, and emotional abuse. The story says those forums helped shape proposed legislation, including ideas tied to stronger accountability and clearer public signals when abuse or neglect is substantiated.
This is heavy, but it's also central, because trust is the foundation of senior living.
Exactly. And for professionals listening who are doing the right thing, the takeaway is policy is often built in response to pain. So the best way to protect residents and protect the profession is to build a culture where concerns are surfaced early, investigated quickly, and addressed completely.
What does that look like at the community level?
It's staffing support, training, supervision, and leadership presence. It's clear reporting pathways. It's communication with families that's proactive, not defensive. It's making sure staff feel comfortable speaking up. And it's following through, not just documenting that something will be done, but confirming it was done.
And for listeners in Missouri, keep an eye on how those proposals evolve, because introduced bills and final bills can be very different.
Right. But the broader point applies everywhere. Prevention culture beats reaction culture every time.
All right, let's tie this week together. Laughter reminds us that joy belongs in care. Daily huddles remind us that small routines can prevent big problems. CMS validation reminds us that the resident's story must be consistent and accurate. WA Cares reminds us that funding supports can prevent crisis. And Missouri's forums remind us why transparency and accountability matter in every community.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of HealthCap Weekly Wrap. You can get more details about these stories in the weekly roundup on Angie's blog at healthcapusa.com/Angie's-blog.
Have a great week.
Bye-bye.